Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jerred Moon. The Garage Gym Athlete Podcast is a result of my desire to build better humans, unequivocal coaches, and autonomous athletes. I've spent the last several years obsessing over program design, nutrition, and every other way you can optimize human performance. This podcast distills the latest scientific research with what I've learned and blends it with the not-so-scientific field of mental toughness. We are here to build you into a dangerously effective athlete. If you enjoy this podcast, you can find out more about our training at garagegymathlete.com. And if you want to pursue more into the field of coaching and programming, head to endof3fitness.com. Thanks for listening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with the Murph crew, which is going to be Kyle Johnson, Trampus, Chris, Ryan Caswell, Brian O'Connell, Adam George, Chris Morgan, just some of the what am I going to call you guys? The Murph.
Big boys.
Yeah, the guys who thought it would be a good idea to do anything that Trampus says. That's the official name of the group.
That's not 100% true. The guy who started
Morgan.
No, it wasn't Chris Morgan. It was Chris Jung. This was Chris Jung's fault.
Oh, was it?
And I'm still
Morgan got me into it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I may have brought the idea to the group, but it was Chris Jung that started all this.
Okay, so to put it in perspective for everyone listening, this group, probably with some others who aren't here, doing the Murph workout at least once per week for a year. And where are we at in that journey right now, guys? What week are we in?
17?
16.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
Finished 16 at the time of recording. It'll be 17.
Okay, perfect. So then we're gonna do a podcast now. We'll do a podcast around 40 because I feel like 40 for me was the worst part. It's like you feel like you're close, but you're not.
It gets worse.
You still have 3 months.
I was just getting ready to say that. It gets worse.
Yeah, and so I think we're going to have to do a couple and then a once complete too. So we'll see how things go, but I kind of have just things I want to highlight. The first one just being a question, you guys 17 weeks in, what is the hardest thing you found about not just doing the workout, about doing one workout 17 times in a row and being the same workout over and over again, like the workout Murph. And like I said, I'll let whoever wants to take a crack at that first go, and then we can kind of go around the room.
It's been a challenge. Chris Jung here. It's been a challenge keeping it interesting. And just because, doing the same thing over and over again is going to get monotonous. I mean, you can eat, the bodybuilder, meals every single, chicken and rice every single meal, and you're going to get bored. So, I mean, doing something once a week, I mean, you got to find that way to change it up and make it interesting and, again, not get bored.
Right, but you've done a good job of that, though. This is Adam, like doing the 8 rounds of the 400-meter run, right. Or doing the crazy stuff like adding a sandbag. I mean,
yeah, and I want to because I mean, like I consistently have at least one other person doing it with me every single week. That's not GGA affiliated. So I mean, I also kind of feel this like external, mostly internal pressure just to make sure that they stay entertained. Like we're not just going to do the same super brutal workout. Like how can we change it and make it challenging in many other ways? And one thing that's really cool about these guys is that they're down. They haven't said no to anything that I pitched so far.
Yeah, it's new and exciting for them, right? So
yeah, exactly. And yeah, and then we can keep the whole thing, because we have 52 of these to do. So we got to do our best to keep it, still keep that excitement going. Cause we've all had our mornings too. And I'm sure y'all have too, over the past 17 weeks, like, wow, do I really want to wake up and do this? And so, I mean, just changing that, making it suck differently. Like we did the under pressure style that I can't remember who, Justin Critter, I think was his name. He recommended that one, and that we ended up, like me and my buddy ended up doing like 1,000 single unders because we kept failing, and it was just, and like we were sore differently.
Right.
Because like going straight through now, it's like, you have all this muscle memory and it's like you don't fatigue. So like, and you're not as sore as like the first week or two of doing it. So it's just kind of the masochistic tendencies to kind of like make it hurt. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, one thing for me, and I know that a lot of people struggle with this, you get used to doing Murph once a year, and the idea, and Chris Morgan is big on this, dropping that PR mindset.
Right.
You're not going to PR every time. You're not going to drop 2 or 3 minutes off of your Murph time every time. Sometimes it's literally just get out there, grind it out, finish the work. And then also not being upset when you have to do it on a Sunday morning and because you had something going on Saturday.
Right.
Jerred, when you did it, it was big for you to do it on Saturdays every day, and that was your goal. But, we sort of just set out to, let's just do this. Let's just do this thing in a year, get 52 of them in a year. Doesn't matter what day, and go from there.
Unless you're Morgan and you do it Thursday and Saturday, and if you're bored, you do it Sunday too.
He's got to get a
couple of
hobby.
Monday sprinkled in there.
Never Monday.
It's probably going to get worse too. It's going to be cold. He's getting a new treadmill. He's not going to have anything to do, so he'll just start doing Murph every day. PGA training.
That's going to be a whole new wrinkle. We're all dealing with heat and those kinds of issues, but like Morgan's up in Minnesota, it gets pretty cold where I am. Nothing like you guys get, but running in freezing rain, running in cold. Like I've done a lot of that stuff from endurance stuff, but that's going to be interesting to come out of that nice warm gym sweaty into 30 or 20 degree weather, and that'll be fun on that second mile.
I think in the performance benefits going that's what I loved about summer Murphs. Well, at least in Texas, it'll be similar in like South Carolina, and just these awful humid temperatures. You're just struggling to get through it. You're talking about dropping the PR mindset. PR is not even close to possible in the summertime. But then like you get into the fall and the winter. Winter in Texas is, I don't know, probably summer in Minnesota, but the performance shoots up. And it's a lot more fun to me to not have to suffer through the workout at that point when you feel like you actually can push and go for those PRs. I mean, you guys said dropping the PR mindset, but is anyone going for a PR? Have you hit PRs? I'd love to hear that side of it too.
I have. So I had never done it before Memorial Day. I think we talked about it right after we had started. I think I talked with you, and it was hard because the first 3 or 4 weeks I kept getting faster and faster. I'm like, oh, here we go. This is never going to end. And Morgan was like, you got to stop thinking that way. That's going to ruin it. And then I hit a plateau, and then I went down for a while. I had a little bit of an issue with my elbow and the muscle above my elbow. And so I had to ring row for like 8 weeks. Like I had to do sub out for 8 different Murphs that way. And slowly I've been adding back in the pull-ups to it, and kind of finally gotten away from, it doesn't really matter what the time is. Did you do the work? Because overall, that's what's more important. So,
yeah, kind of on top of that, I've actually gotten worse at Murph, mostly because I'm focusing on super strict movements. I haven't done any sort of kipping in any movement pattern at all, and my time's gone down because of it to coincide with the heat and humidity in Virginia. But I appreciate it that much more. And then when we get done with it and we all get together and share our times and experiences with it, and we all hate that second mile more than anything else, it's, that's it kind of helps to keep it going, and knowing that you're not gonna, it doesn't matter if you're gonna PR or do anything better. The fact that you're checking in with the guys, the gals, the group, as a whole, it's a good thing. It's a good feeling. Helps us get through it.
Yeah, so I every time Murph had come up before this, I'm pretty consistent in training, but I would always just tell myself that I couldn't do that, or I'd do like a half Murph, or I'd do a zone 2 Murph, and I would always stop myself at an hour. So the first one I actually did the full Murph, and that was my first full Murph ever doing it. And then I guess technically awesome. I got a PR because I think I beat my time by like 5 minutes on the second one. So I think getting over that mental hurdle of just, I can do this many reps. It's going to take me forever. That's fine. I'm not I'm not doing a 35-minute Murph like Morgan is every week, but
not with the rest.
But it's slowly coming down, and I'm just getting more efficient. So
yeah,
I think for me personally, like I do get better each time just because of where I started compared to where you guys are. Like when we did Murph Memorial Day, I was over 300 pounds still, and so as my weight's dropping, and being able to go from ring rows to jumping pull-ups to eventually it will be pull-ups, and getting from 50% of the push-ups to 60 to now 70, 75%, strict. It's,
awesome.
For me, it is PRing pretty much every time because just progressing just personally. Yeah. So
awesome,
yep.
All right, cool. Well, let's go to biggest lesson learned. Maybe something you didn't expect. Like I'd love to hear, because I know, so I've done it twice, 2 years. Chris is trying to catch up right now. And so the first year I did it very much was, I really just wanted to get off take the workout off the pedestal. But then it became this thing, is like, I want to do it as fast as I can. So it was most Saturdays I was going out there to kill myself, just go as hard as I can. The second year, that was just like, I can't do it. Like I don't have the brain capacity. Maybe it was that one additional kid. I don't know what it was. It finally broke me mentally to where I couldn't go anymore. So I learned just to pace. And I knew that was my biggest lesson learned, is like listening to my body on the days that I could really take it and not just be like, nope, I'm going hard no matter what, because today is that day. I really learned a lot about my body and when I can and can't push it. And so that was a big lesson learned for me. I'd love to hear what you guys have.
Yeah, I learned don't kip with raw hand without grips or anything, because like I've torn my hand so many freaking times, and then I finally listened to every one of these other kind gentlemen and decided to just start doing it.
Stop kipping.
And then, yeah. And so I did. And like the big thing with that, like with kipping, I just wanted to go through, get the movements done so I could like at least try and keep up with the other dudes that were doing it with me. But now it's to the point like, well, tearing my hands and being not able to do anything for a week isn't worth an extra 2 minutes behind. So just taking that time and just getting it. And then now I'm able to do a lot more pull-ups strict unbroken than just one or two, and then having to kip or then even go to ring row. So like my pull-up game's gotten like so much better. So I'm loving it. So that's my lesson. That's my lesson, man. Like, probably take some of the combined experience of everyone else that you're in your group with or tribe or community with, and just actually listen to them. Don't just brush them off because it's the easy thing to do or it's not what you want to hear.
Yeah, and that was the whole idea of starting our little messenger group.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you told me, hey, you just randomly one day said, hey, I'm doing Murph for a year. I'm thinking about it. I said, do it. And then I told the messenger
that's
group.
How it started.
And we were already in the messenger group because we were going to do the Spartan race, which is now canceled. And I was like, hey, Chris Young over here is talking about doing Murph for a year. Let's do it.
Yep.
And everybody, and I, it took a little coaxing. Some of the older ones
didn't take any coaxing.
Yeah.
Let's comment down with those old comments.
Oh, wait. How did you know?
Wait, is you hearing
Yeah, because I said I'm not doing that. That's stupid.
It took a little coaxing, but that was it. It was get everybody together. And as far as just a lesson learned, it is that community. Not that I didn't know that already, but you get to really see it when you got this tight knit group.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all basically friends. We're still getting together for the most part, unless something majorly happens in November in North Carolina, but we're not going to be doing a Spartan race. So just really coming together and depending and relying on each other just to help us get through this.
I think that's the big lesson, Trampus, is don't do this challenge alone. It gets very lonely. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I actually started this last year. And I made it about 6 months, but it just got so crushing. Cause you know, you're not like, that's why I'm impressed that like for people that did it alone, like that's crazy because, you know, I would just be missing out on all the, you know, Meet Yourself Saturday workouts and things like that. And it just, you know, it just got kind of boring, but this hasn't been boring at all because you got other people that you're doing it with. So that'd be one of the big lessons. And then I think the other lesson too is what people have already talked about. Don't make this just one thing. Like, don't make it a challenge. Make it training, right? Like that's what Ryan talked about and other guys have talked about. Like fuck the time and just do the calisthenics properly. Like, or if you need a recovery day, like Zone 2 Murph's the best recovery workout on the planet, right? Like you can make this thing more than one thing, right? You can check your box for the challenge and you can do good training too, like really quality movements. And I'm with these guys like right away early on because I didn't even have my vest yet. I was going hard and getting faster every time. But then I've even started noticing that I felt like my reps weren't high quality, you know, particularly on the push-ups. And I'm just like, man, why am I like, if I'm going to do this, why don't I just do it right? Like do good reps, slow down, do it right. And surprise, surprise, you get way better at pull-ups and push-ups from this workout. So yeah, just make it more than one thing and don't do it alone.
Yeah, I think that's huge. So having done it twice, I don't feel like I did it alone either time. Because the first time, you know, there are garage gym athletes out there who know I'm doing it. And so while someone else may not have done it, I had that accountability piece because I'm like, I'm not going to be the guy who does it, you know, 10 times and then, you know, I don't do it anymore just because I knew I would. Not that anyone in the community I'd be actually letting down, but it's just that slippery slope of like, what kind of person am I going to present as? But then the second year, VD did it with me. And VD was the only reason I PR'd anything the second year because he would do it and I'd be like, that's a minute and a half faster than my fastest. So great. Like I'm going to be busy for the next 3 weeks trying to beat it. And then it came down to just this race for the last 6 weeks, who's going to have the fastest Murph time. And I would have never done that if it wasn't for VD. I would have just like coasted the last 6 weeks and be like, whatever, let's just finish it off, you know, get this thing over with, 52 times complete. So it's great to have a partner. Even more amazing, it seems, to have like a community like you guys have doing it.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely off its pedestal for me by this stage, the workout. It doesn't intimidate me anymore. I mean, I think the thing that sucks most is it's cold and it's dark in the morning. Like tomorrow, this is like total bullshit. It's supposed to be 35 degrees tomorrow morning. And I am not acclimated to the cold right now because it was just summer a week ago. So I'm not looking forward to tomorrow morning, to be honest with everybody.
Appreciate your honesty, Chris.
All right, so let's go to this kind of final part. I'd love to know, would you recommend other people do, let's just say this specific challenge, 52 Murphs in 52 weeks? Why or why not?
Wholeheartedly.
I would recommend it.
Good, Kyle, you take this one.
Oh, no, I would definitely recommend it. For me personally, this is as far as I've come in any sort of fitness journey. I've lost almost, 80 pounds in the past year and a half. I lost a little bit.
Awesome.
And then I committed to buying some weights. And then I found Garage Gym Athlete. And then it's just kind of evolved from there. I did the Spartan race last year with you all, which is something I never would have really considered myself doing. So anyway, committing to a journey like this is really important to keep yourself accountable. And I'm the type of guy, I got to tell everybody, because if I don't, and I just keep it to myself, I'm going to fall off the wagon. So this community has been huge for me, not just the, Facebook group, but, this individual group itself. I mean, I see these guys putting up numbers that are really impressive, but in a way that it's like, man, I want to do that. I want to succeed. I want to continue to improve. So it's just been a really awesome journey so far. I know I'm going to have to find different ways to keep it interesting as I go, but I don't think that's going to be a problem down the road.
Hard is always interesting.
Yeah, another thing to kind of feed onto that, it does, taking on a challenge, any challenge it's a challenge. It's tough. That's why not many people even try it. having the ability to, we already as a group were conversating with each other and boosting each other up because, we're all doing either the same track or one off from each other. I think Adam and I are the only ones on Jerred right now. Everybody else is H2K to life, apparently. But we've had that bond ahead of time. So going into it together, and then not we talk crap to each other, but in a productive way. It's not, beating each other down. It's a little bit beating each other down, but it's done in a effort of trying to keep everyone moving forward. Absolutely take on a challenge, because you find out, maybe you might not find out what you're made of, but you find out that you have a community behind you to help you push through. And I think that is a huge thing to find for yourself or anybody.
Yeah.
I'd say the closest that this has come was when I started marathon training. And it's been a long time since I've done something where I actually have a feedback loop of, my body can adapt to this if I just keep going. Yeah. That first time I did it on Memorial Day, I thought I was going to be dead. I could barely move the rest of the day. The rest of the weekend was shot. By week 3, maybe week 4, I'd finish Murph and I'd go take the dog for a walk, or I'd go cut grass or I'd go for a ride. Like, I'm finding that more and more, it's just another workout. It's kind of been demystified. It's, I think we talked about this before, but I found out about this through CrossFit, and in the CrossFit community, it's this big hoopla and everybody gets geared up for it and they train for it for like 5 weeks going up to it. And then you just watch people die the whole day on Memorial Day. Nobody's getting through it. People are kipping or falling off. And I'm in my garage gym by myself, just kind of strictly moving through all the movements. And I'm not the world's fastest person, but I'm getting through it weekly and it's not killing me. And so the adaptation is taking place. So I think this is a very good thing to undertake, even though it's a long thing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, you guys have said it right. You'll find out you had more in you than you thought. And I think that's worth finding by doing a challenge like this, right? It's like, I remember the first time I heard about this workout, I was like, that's insane. But it's not if you just go do it, right? So I definitely think people should do the challenge. It's going to make you better and you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and it's really good for you.
Spin off, just go faster, just go do it. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Just go faster. Trampus, what you got?
Oh, obviously, I think people should do hard things, because I've apparently talked people into doing hard things a lot. But
that's what
you really
said.
There you go. Thank you. I have no idea what I was going to say now.
You like doing hard things. That's what you like to do.
I'm not the best at anything, really. But I know that when I put my head down, I can finish something. And you don't really know that until you just take a step and try to and try. That's all you can do. So everybody should be doing something on a regular basis that, in your words, Jerred, makes you meet yourself. And we decided to do it once a week for a year.
Yeah, I think you should definitely do it, especially if you think you can't. If you don't think you can do it, that's all the more reason. Because I never would have done this if it weren't, I'm not going to throw you under the bus, Trampus, for this group collectively deciding to do this. Because that's just getting back into training, almost 40 years old. There's zero reasons why I should be doing this other than the group talking me into it and then realizing that I am capable of doing it. So taking on challenges that specifically you don't even think you're capable of really lets you know where you stand and where you can go.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, did I miss anything? Is there anything that you want people to know about doing Murph 52 times in a row, or weekly 52 times? Did I miss anything you guys think that we should hit on?
Partition is evil.
Well, I guess the one thing would be just, everybody's starting at a different spot. And we said this at the beginning with the little group. You know, we're all at different fitness levels. You got Chris Morgan, who's, you know, apparently just some closet freak. And then you got guys like me who's never even done the workout. So do some form of Murph every week for a year and measure your progress. Don't kill yourself. Try not to PR every time. Look at it as a way of training. But don't beat yourself up if it's a zone 2 Murph or if you really only can do a half of a Murph and it still takes you an hour and a half, do that. You know, it's okay. And just save real Murph for the next year or whenever you decide to do this again. That was our goal. We weren't going to ostracize anybody for doing part of a Murph instead of a full Murph or anything like that, because it's just no place for it.
I just want to add to finish it off, though. I'm trying to get everyone else on board, but to finish it off, last week,
here we go.
24-hour Murph.
No.
That's not happening.
Negative.
Hey, we can watch you two kill yourselves doing it.
Maybe.
Think about it.
Jerred Moon, who is like the fittest person I've ever been around, has decided that is not a necessary thing. Therefore, you see,
I agree.
You are damaging yourself. You're literally on the verge of damaging yourself.
I'm just saying, Trampus. There's leaders and there's followers, and
we'll follow the ambulance to the hospital for you.
You're the sheep. You're that sheep with the bell around his neck that's leading all of us off that cliff. Is the only place you're leading us with that nonsense.
Go down with friends, I suppose.
I memean, there have been more than a few people in the community to do the 24-hour Murph challenge.
Yeah.
My buddy's actually friends. They go to the same gym with a guy who just broke the record for that in Charleston. And I just have no interest in it because all fear-based. Like I really think that I will end up with rhabdo. Like no matter what. Like, I think that I will end up with rhabdo because I'll get competitive, especially if I'm doing with other people. If I'm like Chris Morgan's and one Murph ahead of me, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to try even harder now to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm afraid I would end up with rhabdo. That's my biggest fear. And if you just want to go ruck, let's double it. You want to ruck for 48 hours? I'm your guy. I'll be there. Sure. Let's go do it. But Murph for 24 hours, I'm a little fearful of ending up in the hospital.
Well, Chris and I had that conversation, and it basically would just be a 24-hour Murph AMRAP. So just as many as you can do in 24 hours, and hopefully it's more than 2.
I've done it twice, probably 5 times now, and I cannot imagine doing it for 24 hours after doing that because it's just I don't know. Like maybe people that are good at pull-ups, because I'm not a natural at pull-ups, as it were, could do it. But with a vest, like after 2, I'm like, I just cannot imagine doing it like however many more times that guy did it 15 times. Like he must just be a freak upper body strength wise. So
right.
No, I do plan on doing like a double at some point.
Yeah.
You know, my 10th Murph was like you did, Jerred. It was a pretty tough one. You know, I hiked 5 miles, did all my cows on top of a mountain, and then hiked 5 miles out or back. So, you know, I did something hard.
Sang John Denver the whole time.
Country roads take me home, bro. But no, 24-hour Murph is just, I think it's too much of a detriment.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all are wild. I was complaining about the second mile.
Wait, there's a second mile in this thing?
For later.
Yeah, go on, man.
I feel no inkling to do that. That just seems like injury to me.
All right, guys, you're 17 in. I would love to hit it again, you know, when we get closer to halfway and then closer to the end. Really just, I mean, partly for my own entertainment, but also just to actually, you know, I mentioned mental benchmarking, and I would just love to have the same conversation with the same people when you're at, you know, 34, 37, and just see where you guys are at and how you feel about it. If your PR mindset's changed, if you've changed how you're attacking the workout, I'd love to document a little bit more of this. So we'll definitely do it again. But I appreciate you guys, being a part of the community and really inspiring a lot of others. I think that's the biggest part of what you guys are doing. I think sometimes people can put me on a pedestal just because I doing the podcast regularly or whatever. Like Trampus is like, I could never do that. There's nothing special to me at all, and I think with you guys doing it every single week, you're inspiring so many other people in the community to realize, like, yes, it's just a commitment thing. That's all it takes, is just committing to doing something, and you're going to come out on the other side of having committed to do something every week for 52 weeks, just mentally stronger. I don't think there's any way around it. So I think it's awesome what you guys are doing, and I appreciate you being Garage Gym Athletes. But that's it. That's all I got for that one. All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jerred.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.